Thank you for joining us in Vegas. And does the Athletic put you up in a nice suite there in the Bellagio? I mean, what kind of digs?
Yeah, I can give you a tour of it if you want. It's I don't want to say where I am.
I don't want
any
to either. No.
Stalkers or anything like that. But yeah, no, it's a big suite. So it took me a while to even find my laptop.
Oh, I bet. How far are you then from the arena?
Actually, I know all the shortcuts. So I'll be there in like 5 minutes. Right when I get off this, I'm heading to the morning skate, which we're going to have a new cast of characters there today.
Yeah, we are. Well, let's talk about the trade tracking. And again, I am always in awe of how you juggle all this stuff. Trying to keep track of your Twitter/X feed, whatever you want to call it, is exhausting to me. And I'm just reading it. I don't know how you keep on top of this stuff. What's this been like for you here in this time leading up to the deadline before we get into the particulars?
Well, I mean, it's been a busy couple days, busy week as they've kind of reshuffled the deck on their bottom six. I know a lot of Wild fans obviously wanted a top six center, but the prices were really high, and so far we've seen no top six centers go in the NHL right now. And I think the Wild actually did the more prudent thing right now is, they've traded a lot of prospects and a lot of picks the last couple of years in the David Jiricek deal and also the Quinn Hughes deal. And if they want to go big game hunting, to now just throw away a Charlie Stramel or somebody like that and a Vincent Trocheck deal, it just makes no sense. And so I think what they did today is sort of really addressed other needs that they had. And then this summer they'll go shopping in some sort of trade when some big fish maybe get on the market. But right now, this was a busy day, obviously highlighted by the Bobby Brink trade.
Yeah.
Bobby, a real young, good forward that's coming here. And then Nick Foligno joining his brother. That'll be cool as well.
Yeah, well, let's start there with Bobby Brink, 24-year-old from Minnetonka, acquired from Philly. Is you had said a possible third line right wing?
Yeah, that's what they're, look, this is somebody that was only, he was barely a second round pick. He's actually somebody that a lot of Wild fans, I remember, wanted the Wild to take in that first round, and he wound up going to Philadelphia in the second round. But they've been somebody that the Wild have really liked for a long time. A lot of skill, very smart, competitive, has turned himself into a real pro. And the key here is John Tortorella was his coach with the Philadelphia Flyers, and John was on the USA Hockey staff, assistant coach with John Hines and with Billy Guerin and Chris Kelleher in Milan, and they did a lot of talking to him there, and that's where they really started to think seriously about acquiring this young player. And what they like about him is he's a pending RFA, so he's got a long future potentially here with his hometown Wild. So right now, the way that their lines stack up, he'll probably step in tonight in Vegas and be on their third line and play, but he's somebody that can play up and down the lineup, can play left wing, can play right wing. At the under 18s for the United States back in 2019, he had incredible chemistry with Matt Boldy. Not that they're going to play together here, but I see him on the second power play here and a third line role, at least for now.
Okay, and then Nick Foligno. So coming from the Blackhawks, 38-year-old Nick, older brother of Marcus. I think last I saw, it was to be determined what was headed back to Chicago for him. But he was weighing whether he wanted to finish the season in Chicago. He said he's really loved the team, or, he's never had a cup. So to go somewhere and make a run for the cup. And certainly the Wild are appealing to him for the potential, but also because his brother's here.
Yes, I got off the phone with his brother about a half hour ago, and he was super excited. He said he was actually shaking. And, if you remember back in 2021, the Wild actually pursued Nick Foligno on a free agent contract and offered him a bunch of money. And he chose the Bruins at the time because at that point in his career, he thought the Bruins had a chance to win a cup. And they frankly, if they got by the Florida Panthers that year, they probably would have. And the other thing is that he just at that point didn't want to, almost cast a shadow on Marcus here. Well, now they're at different stages of their careers. Marcus is established here. Nick's on the twilight of his career, and he just wants to help, have a chance to win a cup. This is a proud pro that can play left wing, can play center, is willing to be out of the lineup, obviously in the lineup. Look, it's no doubt a gesture, right? The Wild traded future considerations, which in hockey lingo, that is literally jack squat. That is nothing. Future considerations in the NHL is not like other sports where eventually the Wild are going to give them something. They got him for free. And so he's going to come here, and he's still got a lot of game left. He's a great guy, and as you know, with Bill Guerin, it's all about character in the room, and Nick will definitely add to that.
Well, Marcus certainly is. A lot of the attributes of him is how great he is in the locker room and on the bench and everything. And so Nick basically just adds to that, then, huh?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Nick is such a good guy. I've gotten to know him well over the last 12, 15 years in this league. Obviously, the former captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets, captain now of the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's just a great guy. Used to, at the beginning of his career, was more of a goal scorer, obviously a top line center and things like that in Columbus. Later in his career, he's adjusted to playing wing and things like that. But this is somebody that is so good with young guys. He did the Foligno camp where he brought all the young Chicago Blackhawks players to his home last year in up in Sudbury, Ontario, and had like a little mini camp for them. And Marcus lives right next door, so he's just a great influence. And so I think that this is a really cool thing. Obviously great for the family, but I don't think the Wild do it unless they know that Nick could actually be somebody that can contribute on the ice, and that's the hope.
Okay, and last I read from you, I believe, is that you're sensing that the Wild may be done with the trade?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, look, there's less than 2 hours until the trade deadline, so anything can come down the pike. I mean, the one player that I think that they've had interest in is Ryan O'Reilly, but the price is super high for him. I mean, reportedly a first-round pick and a top prospect. And again, as I mentioned, Ryan O'Reilly is 35 years old. He's got 1 year left on his deal. You do that, and all of a sudden this summer, if an Austin Matthews or a Brady Tkachuk or Jack Hughes or a Nico Hischier or somebody like that becomes available, and now you've traded a bunch of assets away for a 35-year-old, you could wind up regretting it. So right now, I'm not expecting too much. Obviously, they added Foligno today. They added Brink today. They added Jeff Petrie yesterday, which was all the indication that David Jiricek was a goner. And then in the last couple days, they've added Michael McCarron and Robbie Fabry. So they feel like they've done what they wanted to do. Obviously, we all know that they could use top six center, but when you have a Quinn Hughes in your lineup, and what he's done for them offensively, defensively, it mitigates really a lot of that. They have two play-driving wingers, Matt Boldy, Kirill Kaprizov. I still genuinely believe that this team is poised to potentially go on a run. Obviously, a tough division. They're going to have to play Dallas most likely in the first round, probably have to get by Colorado in the second round. I know we all want them to get a top six center, but I think when you have the second best defenseman in the league in Quinn Hughes, it mitigates a lot of that.
All right. Hey, Michael, thank you again for joining us from Vegas in the midst of a very, I would say it's a fun and stressful time for you here with the trade deadline approaching. We'll let you get over there to the morning skate. Appreciate it.
Yep, anytime, Rob.
All right. Michael Russo, senior writer with The Athletic.